Right. We should be live. Just checking everything is working okay, but it should be. Alright. We are good, we are live. Hello, welcome back to another live stream. I hope you're all having a good week, have had a good weekend, enjoyed the first pre-season game against Reading. That was certainly an interesting one, and I think it was really interesting to see Thomas Frank Ball for the first time, all of the changes he's made, the personnel that we had, some new faces in there that were equally as impressive as each other, which was really encouraging. But yeah, there's been a lot going on, but not a lot going on in terms of like transfer bits and just Tottenham in general. So I wanted to do another live stream to chat to you guys about it, talk about it, get your thoughts, opinions, and who knows, maybe one day we'll do one of these live streams and then some breaking transfer news will happen while we're live. But so far, there is nothing concrete, but there are murmurings, there are rumours, and we can talk about all of that because we love to speculate on this channel. So why not do that? But before I get into everything, if you are new to the channel or you enjoy the live streams and videos, please feel free to hit the subscribe button if you're over on YouTube, or if you're watching on TikTok, hit that follow button. We are aiming for 5k followers/subscribers on both channels by the end of the 2025-26 season. So yeah, if you can help me out with that, I would be eternally grateful. And get yourselves down in the comments as well. Let me know your thoughts, your feelings, etc., on how everything at Tottenham is going at the moment, and I will read them as many as I possibly can. So yeah, let me know how you're doing in the comments as well. AM29, hello, free Morgan Gibbs-White. Knew that would be the first comment. Yeah, 100% free Morgan Gibbs-White, man. Free my dude. Get him in a Spurs shirt already. Isaac saying on TikTok, this signing's never gonna bloody happen. Honestly, I think we're at a bit of a crossroads among like Spurs fans now. I'd say where a lot of people are just fed up and tired of it, and in that point, it's taken a lot of the glamour off of the deal. What do you guys think? Because obviously, when the news first broke, we're all sitting here thinking, oh my God, Morgan Gibbs-White, what an absolute stellar signing. Like, he's going to be brilliant for Spurs. And here we are, like a week and a half later, still nothing going on with that deal. And it now is just, we're all just sort of sat here like, oh, well, it is what it is. It's a good sign if it happens. But a lot of people have said to me in the last week or so that we should move on, go for other targets, etc. But it seems like we're kind of sitting on our hands at the moment and not really moving forward with too much else until there's some clarification on this deal. But that's the thing. There hasn't been any clarification on the deal. We don't know when there's going to be any clarification on the deal. And as MKid87 on TikTok has just said, where are the signings? It's 3 weeks until the season has started, and you're absolutely right. Jersey Junkie saying we need to drop 80 million on Baliba. Isaac saying we can't move on, we need him. And then over on YouTube saying it will happen in the end, we've done nothing wrong. And yeah, it's such a weird one. So for those of you that maybe aren't fully up to date with the news, the latest that we sort of understand is that Morgan Gibbs-White didn't travel with Forest to their pre-season tour in Portugal on Monday. However, reports are saying that is due to a personal issue or personal circumstances completely unrelated to football. A lot of people speculating that it might be to do with his partner, who is apparently in the middle of a high-risk pregnancy, and that's why he stayed behind for now. But there's no confirmation on that, so yeah, we don't know if that's actually true or not, and we don't know. The thing is, with this Morgan Gibbs-White stuff, it's going to break at some completely random time. Nobody is going to mention it, and then all of a sudden it's all going to come flooding through, and that is going to be like when it all hits the fan. Either we know we're going to get him or we know we're definitely not going to get him, but it's going to come at that point. Chris, how's it going, man? In the YouTube chat, we're tired of Gibbs-White. Let's try and get something for the Super Cup, at least a better player. 100%. Like, the Super Cup is, at the end of the day, that Super Cup's another chance for silverware, chance to win a trophy, albeit against the best team in Europe. And we've only made one signing that improves our starting 11, you'd say, at the moment, really, wouldn't you? You'd say that Mohamed Kudus is only signing. I know we've got Takai, but he's not going to be a starting centre-back. That we haven't really improved our team all that much. And that's a problem for me. That is a big problem for me. But hopefully there's some movement. As you guys will see from the title of this live stream, there are a lot of rumours flying around. And I will talk about them 100%, so don't worry about that. Whiteheart says, are you a journalist? Yeah, journalism is my job, my main job. I do content creation as well, but yes, I am a journalist. Tony Gamble says, why aren't the FA involved yet? I need to sort it out. We're in limbo. So the issue with this, Tony, is apparently, according to a lot of reports, there hasn't actually been a complaint to the Premier League. So apparently, and this may be slightly off the mark, but going off the majority of reports, Spurs haven't done anything, Forest haven't done anything, and Morgan Gibbs-White hasn't done anything. So we're all just sort of like at a stalemate. We're in limbo. Like, there's nothing actually going on. So I don't really know where the solution comes from and where the breakthrough is, if you get what I mean. That's why it's so frustrating, because we're not making any progress. There's no talks of the FA or Premier League investigating it and coming to a solution. It's just that Marinakis and Forest have said, nah, you're not paying that release clause, he's not coming to you. And now apparently they're trying to offer him to Man City as well. It's so frustrating. But yeah, Joe says he's not going to Spurs, mate. I don't know. I still think it will happen. For the record, I still think Morgan Gibbs-White will be a Tottenham player, but we will see. FG says, do you think we will go for Wissa? I think we will try for Wissa. I do think he will still leave Brentford, regardless of the fact that Brentford maybe don't want to sell him after selling Mbeumo to United. I do think I would lean towards him joining Newcastle more than Spurs at the moment, just because I think where Newcastle have lost out on Ekatike and they want to sign another striker, they're probably a bit more desperate than us and will be willing to pay a bit more money than us. And that maybe works in their favour as opposed to Spurs, because I don't think Spurs are going to drop anywhere near 50 million on Wissa, whereas Newcastle I feel like would be more likely to get towards that figure, if you get what I mean. Liam says, would you have picked Mbeumo over Kudus? Very interesting question. I don't know, it's difficult because obviously my viewpoint's swayed on it now after the fact that we have actually signed Kudus, and I like him, and I really liked what I saw against Reading at the weekend, and plus we paid 20 million less than what it cost Man United to sign Mbeumo. So I don't know, I actually think Kudus will suit our team better than Mbeumo in hindsight. James Cooper, thank you for the follow on TikTok. Welcome to the family. Toby, do you know if Morgan Gibbs-White is coming? Again, I'm as in the dark as the rest of you at the moment. I'm just sitting waiting for news, to be honest. Yes, have I heard that Ozzy has passed? Ozzy Osbourne, yes. Rest in peace, Ozzy Osbourne. He only did his farewell show a couple of weeks ago, didn't he? And I have seen that he's passed away. So, yeah, obviously thoughts of his family and stuff. But, yeah, very sad news. What are people saying on YouTube? Robbo says, why are we not going for Eze? He's the one. I think we left that race for Eze a while ago, to be honest with you. I don't think Spurs are willing to play his release clause. I don't think the terms of the release clause are that favourable. And I don't think Frank really sees him as the number one sort of guy that can work in that Spurs team. Which is why we've sort of completely called interest off of him now. Emma Bryn saying, it's getting really frustrating how much. Yeah, I'm just as frustrated as the rest of you. I really, really am. It's something will break. Something will break soon. I know, obviously, Gibbs-White said that he his future resolved by the time Forest went on pre-season tour. Frank wants it resolved by the time Spurs go away on the pre-season tour. So I'm hoping we're coming towards a crossroads where we get something breakthrough from that. Yeah, Chris is saying, if we have the money to pay for Gibbs-White, why can't we just go to Eze instead of wasting time? Yeah, I guess I do see your point there. Hijack Wissa, yeah, would love him. I'd really like Wissa at the club, by the way. I think if we can sell Richarlison and replace him with Wissa, that would be really, really good business. I don't know what everyone else's thoughts are on that as well. Sorry, I am keeping up with you guys on TikTok as well. Callum says another mid-table finish for Spurs. We'll see. I remember all of these comments, by the way, when you guys see, and I'll come back to it at the end of the season. Aiden, thank you for the follow on TikTok, my dude. Welcome along. We should sign Xavi Simons. Would love it. I mean, Chelsea are in there again, which is ridiculous, isn't it? How are Chelsea in for another attacking player? I just cannot understand where they fit all of these players in, and how so many of them are happy sitting on the bench and not playing every week. That's the only thing. Aiden, thank you for the follow, my dude. I think I already said you. Jimmy Willis, thank you so much for the follow as well. G-Ban says, Brentford sell Wissa, they go down. I think Brentford will be a lot of people's picks to go down this season. They're just being torn apart, from their coaching team to their best players to everything in between. It's not looking great for them. But there may be 3 worst teams in the league, and I'm still will say Sunderland's business this summer has been really good so far. So they'll be an interesting one to keep an eye on as well, in my opinion. Have you heard the talk about Mainoo? Do you think that's a rumour, or do you think we would? I have, yes. It's in the title, I believe, of the live stream about the Mainoo interest. I don't doubt that we're interested in him. I don't know. I know we saw like last summer and last winter, I think that Man United would maybe be willing to sell him for the right price. But I can't see a world in which they'd demand less than like 50, 60 million for him. And do I think he's worth that much? Probably not, to be honest. So I get the interest, the homegrown stuff, everything else in that regard. I don't think he's the smartest signing that we could make, to be honest with you. Daryl, how is everyone? I'm a Chelsea fan. Hey, Daryl. I know we're rivals on the pitch, but welcome into the chat. We're not toxic in here. We're all willing to listen to each other. SB says, do you reckon Gibbs-White will join? I do still think that. Yeah, 100%. Jimmy says, if you could sign just one more player this window, who would it be? Belieber, hands down. Those of you that haven't watched my latest YouTube video on the number 6 I think Spurs should sign, go and watch that. I talk about Belieber in a lot of depth. He's the dream signing for me. Absolutely love him. That is who I would go with for sure. Hello, guys in the chat. I see you. What are your thoughts on Everton's season? I think Everton will be a lot better this year. David Moyes is such a safe bet for manager, isn't he? He will steady the ship 100%. So yeah, that will be fine for them, I think. And Buemo or Kudus. Got about the boy that's actually playing for Tottenham now. Brody says that you go into the Super Cup final. No, I'm not. I decided against the Super Cup for this one. I enjoyed Bilbao. It was brilliant to be out there, but I'm gonna leave the Super Cup and watch that one from afar. But yeah, I hope it will be a very memorable day or couple of days for people that are going. I'm worried now that Paris Saint-Germain will be a wounded animal. Worried? Are you? I don't know. What team do you support, dude? Let me know. But yeah, what I want to do is, as we usually do in these streams, we can get the big screen up and we can have a look at the latest transfer news and chat about it as well, so you don't just have to stare at my face the entire time. By the way, Spurs under-21's playing tonight. What a team this is, by the way. I think it's the Justin Edinburgh Memorial Trophy or something against Leyton Orient. That team is incredible. Gunter Tara Ashcroft, Roswell Oluwasi, Casanova, George Abbott, Tyrese Hall, Jamie Donnelly, Will Lancashire, Dane Scarlett, and Heung-min as well. That's a team. I'd be shocked if we don't give Leyton Orient a real game. Although I haven't actually had a look at what team Leyton Orient are playing for this. So yeah, we will have a look at the transfer news. We'll start with Gibbs-White because I know that's the one everyone's desperate for news on. But we'll cover every single player in the title of this video. So we'll go through Morgan Gibbs-White, Mainoo, Garnacho, Wissa, Palhinha. We'll talk about all of them. We'll start with Gibbs-White because that's obviously the main one still. But this was kind of the big news that came out of it today. For those of you that haven't seen, is that apparently Marinakis is offering and hoping that City come back in for Gibbs-White. City, we know, were very interested in signing Gibbs-White at the start of the transfer window. Forest quoted him like 80 million quid instead. So they went off and bought the likes of Shirky and Reyners and people like that. And as a result, they sort of backed off. But yeah, I don't know if I believe this, to be honest. I can't get my head around how, if we've triggered a release clause, that we aren't entitled to be able to sign the player, and how people can go around and offer that player to other clubs, even though we've paid a release clause or are going to play a release clause and go. So yeah, it's such a weird bit of news. That's why it sort of gets me to question it a little bit. But this is what I mean. Nobody really knows what's happening. That's the main thing. Jason saying, if Levy really thinks he can win trophies this season, then he needs to prove it and sign Wissa ASAP. Yeah, we need to get moving, really. We still need, obviously the Gibbs-White stuff's the Gibbs-White stuff. We still need to sign another potential attacker because we don't know if Son may leave. We need to sign another central defensive midfielder and potentially someone like a left back, a bit of cover for Destiny Udogie. Mine went blank for a second there. By the way, how good was Luka Vuskovic against Reading in that second half? Unbelievable debut. I cannot get my head around the fact that kid's 19 years old. Absolutely insane. But yeah, Football Sport, is Whoop any good? Yeah, for me, I mean, it's obviously not an ad or anything. I'm not quite at that level yet, but good spot, by the way, on the wrist. But yeah, I use it obviously every single day. I actually got it as a birthday present and I got gifted a 12-month subscription. It's been really useful so far as someone that plays a lot of football, goes to a gym a lot and does a fair amount of exercise. Really good for tracking recovery and keeping on top of things and just seeing how healthy you are, really. So yeah, I'd recommend it if you're looking at one. Goff is saying, any news on Morgan Gibbs-White? Yeah, that's what we're talking about just right now. Yeah, Ozzy Osbourne died today. Yep, did see that. Revs, thank you for the follow on TikTok. Lewis, thank you for the follow on TikTok. Noah, thank you for the follow on TikTok. Harry Scarf, my boy, welcome. Thank you for the follow, my dude. I am going to get back to your DM on Twitter, by the way. I just haven't got around to checking my diary yet, so don't think I'm ignoring you, buddy. I will get there. But yeah, thank you for the new follows. If you're watching on TikTok, hit the follow button. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Plenty of content. I'm going to have a transfer video out on YouTube tomorrow, by the way, so keep an eye out for that. I'm going to sort of sit down and do a bit more of a concise transfer breakdown of what's going on at Spurs at the moment and how I think people are getting a little bit frustrated with the lack of movement again with one major signing and how close we are to the season now. Like, it's just getting to that point where people are so annoyed again at this point. YouTube comments. Garnacho as left wing. Oh yeah, Garnacho, that's the other one I forgot to mention. We'll talk about him as well, of course. Garnacho, I don't know. I tweeted earlier, right? I'll show you guys. I tweeted earlier that Garnacho deal doesn't really inspire me. Actually, let me just tweet out a little reminder for people. Yeah, the Garnacho stuff and the interest around him, I didn't really get it, but a lot of people sort of jumped down my throat and are really keen to sign him. What are people's thoughts on potentially signing Garnacho? Because I don't think it's really a signing that we should be making. I know he's got great potential, and I know he's still only 21 years old, and I know, you know, he's got the potential to be one of the best wingers in Europe, I guess. But the attitude stuff really puts me off, and how things have been going down at Manchester United. It's just not really for me. But I don't know what people think. So yeah, inside forward and then Tell as an in. Garnacho as left wing and Tell as an inside forward. I mean, it could work. Of course, it could work. We don't really know, do we? Would he get in as a starter, Garnacho at Spurs? Not entirely sure. I really hope we get our business done by the Super Cup. 100% agree. 100%. Morgan Gibbs-White is only free if he comes to us. Yeah, hopefully. Spurs could probably sue if Gibbs-White goes to another club. Yeah, it's interesting to see what would potentially happen. We probably triggered it incorrectly. I genuinely have no idea. Like, it's all speculation, isn't it? All speculation. The thing is, back on TikTok, the thing is, other teams might be tended to offer better personal terms now. I feel like he wants to join though. I genuinely think that Gibbs-White wants to join Tottenham, and that's why, you know, personal terms are in place, etc., etc. And yeah, I just think that it. What's this? I haven't seen this. Premier League and UEFA could both take action against Tottenham if guilty of tapping up Gibbs-White. More likely from Premier League, I reckon. The longer this drags on, the worse it's looking for. I'm not even going to bother reading that. It's just a load of waffle. Just a load of waffle. Yoane Wissa just followed the same London barber as Solanke and Morgan Gibbs-White. Tottenham take note. I saw this. This made me laugh. 12 years ago on this day, we got the Morgan Gibbs-White to Tottenham. Here we go. That one made me laugh. I enjoyed that one. Yeah, so the main thing is... Yeah, the main thing is that apparently Forest are offering out Gibbs-White to City. Whether that transforms into anything else, I'm not entirely sure that would be the case. But what do you think? Are you Gibbs-White, continue with the Gibbs-White deal, or are you of the opinion that we should move on and go for other targets? Is it worth sticking with it? I still think it is. I still think we should stick with it. Need to move on from Morgan Gibbs-White, says Jono. Yeah, more and more people are saying that to me every single day, and the more I see it, the more it makes me think that a lot of people actually believe that, which is fair enough, because it's a hugely frustrating situation. They can try and sue Gibbs-White, his agent, us for unlawful approach, but if we've triggered the release clause, yeah, okay. Why is he not wanting to sell to Spurs? I don't know. People hate Spurs for some weird reason. I don't know what it is. He wants more money than the actual release clause. Yeah, but the release clause is a release clause at the end of the day. If it's there, if it exists, that's how much he gets sold for. And yeah, I don't know. Joseph McKennie. Not going to make me stand up, but nice try. Nice try, my dude. Football King says, I hate Nottingham Forest for this. Yeah, I think a lot of us have not got any good feelings towards them. Is the Mainoo rumour fake, saying he's keen on joining the Spurs? I don't think so. I think he would be keen to join. I just don't think we'll actually sign him. I don't want Garnacho. Yeah, neither. Mitch, what are your thoughts on Solomon? Do you think we might keep him? I reckon we should. Look, I'm not going to go into the deep stuff in regards to Solomon. I'll talk about him as a footballer only, and my opinion of that is I don't think he's good enough for the squad that we're trying to build / a squad that we have. So I'd be cashing in on him ASAP and moving him on, absolutely. Buckaroo, thank you for the follow on TikTok, my dude. Brendan saying just give him 70 million. Yeah, see, this is the thing. Like, we could give him 70 million and it would probably get resolved, but it's Daniel Levy and it's Tottenham. I just can't see that happening. I just can't see a world in which that's happening. I'm all for Morgan Gibbs-White. Got to keep our options open. I still think we're doing stuff in the background to Gibbs. We have to be. There's no way that it's just sitting there quietly. I refuse to believe that. There's absolutely no way. Brendan, thank you for the follow, mate. I appreciate it. I can't see Gehi joining. No, we won't sign Gehi. I think he will move to Liverpool eventually. The centre-back stuff's so weird with us supposedly targeting another centre-back. We just don't need one. It's like the priorities in the transfer window are so weird at the moment. Right, so we've talked about Gibbs-White. Let's talk about who can we... Who can we talk about next? Who else is in the title? Let's do the Wissa stuff next, because I feel like the Wissa stuff is the next most concrete sort of stuff that we're hearing. It's coming from the BBC. It's a position that I feel like we would need to strengthen in. I just seen we hit 500 likes on the TikTok like, by the way. So thank you. Smash that heart button if you're in the TikTok chat, and hit the like button on YouTube if you're over there as well. I appreciate it, guys. Wissa. So the big news. Oh, I just realised you guys can't see my screen. There we go. So the big news with the Wissa stuff is that he has left the Brentford training camp today. So Brentford are on their pre-season tour in Portugal as well, I believe. Same place as Nottingham Forest. But Wissa has actually left the camp and flown back to London because he now wants to leave. So for those of you that have been keeping up to date with the Mbeumo stuff, it was said that if Brentford sell Mbeumo, they're not going to want to sell. They're not going to sell Wissa as well. However, now Wissa is coming out and saying that he wants to leave this summer. He's unhappy, so it opens the door for, I think, Newcastle, Spurs, and Nottingham Forest, all of the teams interested in him. And then it also says that he would prefer to go to either Newcastle or Spurs. And if you go back like 2 weeks when we first got these Wissa links, he said that he would prefer Spurs over Newcastle to play with Thomas Frank again and to stay in London. So if we wanted Wissa, I genuinely think we could go out there and sign him quite quickly. And I am a big fan of him, right? 19 Premier League goals last season. I don't think a single one of them were penalties. I think that it would be a smart signing. I think we should sell Richarlison, bring in Wissa, and it's an upgrade. I know he turns 20. I think Wissa turns 29 in September. He's got 1 year plus an option for another year with Brentford that they can trigger, which I think is why they've driven the price up to closer to 40 to 50 million pounds rather than the 30 million pounds that I think people in the Prem value him at. But I would love this deal. I really, really would. What do you guys think? So I think he can push Dominic Solanke in the squad, and he can obviously play a lot of games. He's got a lot of quality about him. I'd be really, really up for it personally. 23. I see you. I'm well versed. I'm well versed in the bait like that, my friend. So I'm not going to read that name out. Miller, Ben Davis signed for another year. Yeah, I know. There's reasons for that. There are reasons for that. I get it. I get why they've done that. They need a bit of experience around the dressing room. Brendan says at least Wissa wants us to. Yeah, that's the big thing. If a player wants to move to the club, then it makes things a lot easier, of course. Wonder what will happen with Jesus. Surely Gyökeres will want 9. I mean, I think we're talking about different teams here, my dude. But yeah, I said in my TikTok I recorded earlier, I think Gyökeres is a really good signing for Arsenal. Unfortunately, it does give them that filling of a gap that they've been needing for a long, long time. Are you worried about Arsenal? I'm no more worried about Arsenal than I have been for the last few years. I still don't think they're good enough to win the title. They may pick up a trophy eventually under Arteta. I don't think it will be the Premier League. Spurs, boo. He wants to follow Frank. I see you guys coming in and flooding the TikTok comments. It must be coming across me on the For You Live page. Yeah, bro, I saw about the Ozzy Osbourne stuff. Already said, obviously, condolences to his family and stuff. Molly, thank you for sharing the live. Tom, thank you for the follow on TikTok as well. Appreciate it, my dude. No, thank you, Liam. Definitely not. Miller says we definitely need someone challenging Big Dom 100%. Solanke needs some proper competition. And he also needs a rest every once in a while. Guy runs about so much. Where are we on the YouTube stuff? Is there any truth in the Mainoo rumour? A little bit, but I can't see us signing him. Can't see us signing him, my dude. Rashford is the coat. Cool name. MMB, I'm sure Thomas Frank has a list of alternatives. For the Gibbs-White stuff? Is that what you're talking about? I'm sure I heard Morgan Gibbs-White was going to Man City. Then Spurs come in and he chose Spurs. Has to agree to join another club no matter what the chairman wants. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, Gibbs-White wants to join, but he's just... My opinion is he has to throw up a bit of a fuss at some point to push this move through. Otherwise, it's going to drag on right until the end of the transfer window. And nobody wants that. Absolutely nobody wants that, in my opinion. Palhinha, yeah, we'll talk about Palhinha in a little bit. I reckon if we put 40 million for him, we'd get him. No pens as well for his goals. Yeah, 40 mil is like the max I'd go for Wissa, in my opinion. That's the max I would spend on him. I mean, look, if we do want to sign him, by the way, this might work in our favour because 25 mil bid from Newcastle, I would imagine Brentford saw that and laughed out loud at that sort of bid, because that is ridiculously low compared to what Brentford are asking for. So yeah, pretty mental bid if you ask me. But yeah, the fact that he's left the camp though, to me suggests that a move away is probably a lot closer than we think. So keep an eye on the Wissa stuff over the next few days. Maybe that's going to be our alternative while we wait for this Gibbs-White stuff to unfold. We shouldn't be paying more than 30 million for Wissa, to be honest. Yeah, I completely understand that viewpoint. That's the thing. I 100% agree with that. Hoping he gets at least 20 plus. I'm assuming that is for the Solanke stuff. That'd be nice if he were able to get those sorts of numbers. James says, "Hi Mitch, love your content. What do you think is our ceiling this season?" James, appreciate it, dude. Welcome into the chat. I think our ceiling this season is challenging for the top four and a run in one of the domestic cups again. I know we obviously had that big Europa League win last season, but I also still have a huge appetite to win either the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup. I want one of those. Do you know what I want? I really want a day out at Wembley, watching Spurs in a final at Wembley and hopefully winning another trophy. That's like the dream, isn't it? I think that would be ideal. DM, better than Basuma, solid destroyer, open eyes. Yeah, I think a DM should be the priority for sure. Wakaremi says, Morgan Gibbs-White saga is frustrating. Let's move on. Yeah, see, like I said, so many people are of this opinion. So many people. I completely get why people are getting angry about it. I really, really do. Jumland or Palhinha. I haven't actually heard of the first guy. Any more information on him? Ronnie says it has to be 40 mil for Wissa. Yeah, top end of what I'd pay for him. I mean, you look at some of the numbers. Premier League goals scored since Haaland joined Man City. Wissa and Waymo up there. Good numbers. Right, let's talk about Mainoo, shall we? Because I know a lot of people want to hear about him. So we can chat about him. By the way, so I think a lot of the talk as to why Mainoo is linked with Spurs is because I think he might have been a Spurs fan growing up, or at least loved our kits, because this is a picture of him in our kit right here. You can see it on TikTok. Yeah, you can see it on TikTok. And he is supposedly open to the deal. This is coming from Graham Bailey, who works for TBR, and of course it's like, you know, take this sort of stuff with a pinch of salt. But Spurs interested in him, and that's as far as it's gone at the moment, and that is, I think, as far as it will go, because like I said, price, I wonder if I search like Kobbie Mainoo price, what it would say that Man United value him at. I don't think it actually says anything. But yeah, and this toes the line of what we saw last summer, I think, which is that United are willing to sell him. I genuinely don't think Amorim is the biggest fan of him. Hence why United are supposedly willing to sell him this summer. Look, what would be the max people would be willing to spend on someone like Kobbie Mainoo? And the other question I have for you is, where would he fit? Where would he fit in this Tottenham team right now? Is he a number 6? Is he the profile that we're looking for? Because I'm just not sure. I feel like he's more of a box-to-box midfielder. He does a lot of running, and he sort of contributes more in that final third than he does in the defensive one. That's kind of my opinion. Jacob saying Mainoo to Spurs. Yeah, that's what we're talking about at the moment. How true it is, I'm not entirely sure, but that's what we're chatting about. Thank you for the follow, my dude. Appreciate it. Chris comments saying I'd take Mainoo. I think he's decent. Yeah, but what would you pay for him? If Man United came back to us and said they wanted 50 to 60 million pounds for Kobbie Mainoo, would you guys pay it? I'm just not sure. I'm not sure that I would. I just think that's a big price for him personally. Yeah, 30 million. That's what I'd say. No more than that. That's the thing. That's the thing for me. Nicholas, the same old slow Spurs, mate. Even announcing Paratici is going to take a month. Oh, it'll take longer than that, surely. You honestly think it's a possibility? No. I've said, if you're listening in the live stream earlier, I've said I cannot see a world in which we sign Kobbie Mainoo. So, yeah. Billy saying in this market, I reckon they want 50 mil. Did you just say 30 mil? That's what I would pay for him. That's what I wouldn't pay more than that. That's what I mean. This is the thing. Like, this is why I think the deal is so weird and why it's definitely not going to happen. We got some United fans in the chat, have we? 30 mil could get you his left foot. I mean, if you're United fans in the chat, do you rate him? Like, obviously I've seen him and I've watched him, but nothing tells me that he's a world beater as it stands. Who do you think we should sign then? Wissa, yeah, I would sign Wissa, 100%. Not even getting a first team spot in that United team. Yeah, I agree. That's what I mean. Like, is he even going to start for Manchester United next season? He's not leaving the club too close to a new contract. Is he signing a new contract, Fez? He's class, just doesn't fit our formation currently. Okay, fair enough. W2S, what do you mean, my dude? That's our job. West Ham fan here. Thoughts on Callum Wilson going to West Ham? It seems like a West Ham signing, to be honest with you. I appreciate the follow, by the way, dude. Wilson to West Ham, it's just like you can see that as a West Ham signing. I think he'd do all right there, to be fair. Probably bag a couple of goals. He's a decent player, but that season was overhyped, and last season he was really poor. Fair enough. He had a great first year and was burnt out due to injuries. Fair. Imagine selling Bruno, Man United would be effed. Yeah, possibly. United can't sell him, would look awful on there, but apparently United want to sell him. Kai side, I don't know about that, but yeah, I think we're all in agreement here that the Kobbie Mainoo signing is a pretty unrealistic one. So, shall we move on to? We'll do Palhinha first, and then we can talk about who am I missing? Garnacho. We'll talk about Garnacho as well. LTL, how's it going, my dude? Long time no chat. Hope you're well. Welcome on in. So, João Palhinha. So there was actually some credible news that come out about Palhinha today. Jordan, thank you for the follow on TikTok, dude. If you guys are enjoying the live stream, by the way, feel free to hit the follow on TikTok, or if you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. Really appreciate it. LTL, thank you for the follow. Yoane Wissa, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it, guys. Tottenham are monitoring João Palhinha's situation at Bayern Munich. Any move is likely to be dependent on a central midfielder leaving the club, with 5 players currently on the books in that area. Yves Bissouma is the most likely candidate to depart, given that his contract expires after the upcoming season. Should Spurs up their interest, that would most likely be in form of a loan approach. And I think, so this comes from Tom Barkley, but Alistair Gold also said the same thing as well in his article. Excuse me. So the situation with João Palhinha is, 30 years old, has like a year or two left on his contract, and Bayern Munich are willing to sell him this summer. I said this and I tweeted it out. 20 mil, I just don't know if we could turn our nose up at like a 20 mil asking price for someone like Palhinha. And a lot of people came back to me on that thought, and they said he's just not the right profile for us. He's great at winning the ball, and he's like that brute in the middle of the park that you'd want, but he's not sort of the right profile for what Thomas Frank's going to want. I read your comment out, by the way, Kai. You just obviously weren't listening. But yeah, I see it. Don't worry. Yeah, Tottenham, the classic, the legend Tottenham Joe, saying he doesn't rate Palhinha. Ewan saying, any news on Mainoo, Gibbs-White? Mainoo is just interested at the moment, I believe, in Gibbs-White. Fingers and ears, can't hear anything about him at the moment. Palhinha too slow, IMO. He's not the most frustrating player I've ever watched. Is that Palhinha you're talking about, Tom? Premier League proven, but a loan would be a great deal for us. He hasn't played much. Yeah, exactly. Loan deal? for a year, perfect. And then maybe if we can't get the number 6 that we want, we go back next summer and then go for a player that maybe is available. Maybe Belieber will be available then, or maybe Wharton will be available by then. That would be ideal. So yeah, I don't know. I like it. Is he my first choice? I sort of kind of agree with this tweet, which says I can't be the only one that doesn't want either of these guys. I can live with Palhinha on loan with an option to buy, but I don't want Garnacho anywhere near my football club. I said the Garnacho stuff's interesting. I'll come on to that in a moment. But yeah, Palhinha maybe is a bit of a risk considering his age. So maybe a loan deal would be like best case scenario. What's Nathan saying? This move would make no sense. Spurs need a technical, creative number. This is what I was saying. Like, do people think that Spurs need like a brute, hard tackling number 6? Or do they need someone with a bit more technical quality? Garnacho could be amazing, but could be horrible. Yeah, it's a big risk, and he's got attitude problems. That's the other thing. Yeah, so I'm not entirely sure with what's going on there. But yeah, I have. So weird. Someone's just come up on my TikTok chat that I'm just having a look at. So bear with me on that. Yeah, anyway. Tottenham's preference would be a loan move over a permanent deal for Palhinha. Yeah. It's a fake draw. Do you know what? I looked, Elto, you know what I'm talking about? I was assuming you guys could see that in the chat. I was thinking that looks far too realistic. I was thinking, what could I have possibly done to potentially get suspended on TikTok? Yeah, but thank you guys. I appreciate you looking out for me like that. Yeah, mental. Right, sorry. What comments have I missed? Premier League proven, but loan would be a great deal. Yep, said that. Go get Douglas Luiz. Yeah, the Douglas Luiz stuff's gone really quiet. I don't know whether that's something we could potentially revisit towards the end of the transfer window if we can't get someone that we would like. But Garnacho and Palhinha seem like not worst case scenario, but like worst case as in if we can't get our top targets, which I don't think would be too bad. Bulldozer in the bigger games where we might have to sit back a little bit. He could be a good signing. Yeah, potential for sure. What about Wissa? Yeah, I hope we go in for Wissa for sure. Really, really do. That would be a great signing in my opinion. I mean, Elanga wasn't great at United, then turned good. Garnacho might be the same. Do you know what? Interestingly, I actually think Elanga would have been good at Man United had they given him a bit more time, but they just didn't. Joshua saying Morgan Gibbs-White latest just got here, bud. Unfortunately, no new news to give you in terms of Morgan Gibbs-White. Just that he still hasn't gone to Forest's pre-season tour. I think he's at home with his partner, and obviously she's pregnant, high-risk pregnancy and stuff like that. I just really hope something breaks soon. I really, really do. I just don't know when it's going to be, and we're running out of time. 3 weeks till the season starts. They don't want you to speak about Spurs. Yeah, tell me about it. Imagine. Where's Son going? Great question, by the way. What do you guys think? You guys saw that report about Son? I'll grab it up quickly. I'll probably actually have to search his full name in Twitter to actually get the report. Sean, thank you for the follow on TikTok, dude. And we've smashed over 1,200 likes on the TikTok live, by the way. Thank you for all of those hearts and stuff. I appreciate it. And thank you everyone that's liked over on YouTube and subscribed and followed. Uncle Sam, thank you for the follow, dude. I appreciate it. Yeah, right. Where is this Heung-min Son report? Where is it? Just trying to find it. Well, there was this. Heung-min Son left teammates and staff under the impression he was ready to leave Spurs at the end of last season after winning the Europa League, which I think a lot of us could sort of like predict, leaving on a high and stuff like that, because maybe he leaves at the end of this season very latest. But yeah, Josh, thanks for the follow, dude. Alex, thank you for the follow. Got a back issue, hasn't he? Yeah, he could potentially go back to Germany. I think if he were to go anywhere, he'd maybe go to the MLS, to be honest. Who do you think we need in the 6, Mitch? I think we need someone like Baliba or Adam Wharton, but I just can't see us getting them, which is the issue. Everyone has attitude problems at United that magically go away after. I don't think it's a problem. Yeah, maybe. How much do you reckon Brighton would take for Baliba? At least 80 mil. Easy 80 mil. Probably more than that, to be honest. He's such a good player. In my opinion, Baliba is going to be one of the best DMs in the world. It wouldn't surprise me if someone like Chelsea come in a couple of years to replace someone like Caicedo with him. That's just the type of business that they do. Jordan saying perfect timing for him to leave, and I think he should. At the end of the season, right, I sat here and I said, I would like Son to stay for one more season, and I would love him to have like a farewell tour, etc., etc. The more I simmer on it, and especially, and I know I can't obviously judge him based on one pre-season game, but he just still looked so far off it against Reading at the weekend, and that's just a potential problem for me. I really think so. That's what I mean. He's not been his explosive self for at least 2 seasons. I agree. 100% agree with that. If he stays, I hope he isn't captain again. Yeah, I tweeted this. A lot of people weren't happy with my tweet about that, but I agree. I would give the captaincy to Romero this season. Career League, potentially. Son screams Saudi move. Do you know what? I struggle to picture Son playing in Saudi. I just don't know if the money really means that much to him. Surely he leaves as one of the best ever Spurs players up there with Kane. Oh yeah, he's definitely in the conversation. Chris says prefer Wharton. Are we after Garnacho then? Again, I think it's similar to the Mainoo stuff, and it's just interest at the moment. Vuskovic could do a Dyer and play CDM. He plays so well for an 18-year-old. Yeah, possibly. Oh, thank you for 2,000 likes on the TikTok, by the way, and 21 new followers through this live stream. You guys are absolutely smashing it. Vuskovic, maybe. I just think his build and the way that he moves, he's so suited as a centre-back. I just don't know how mobile he'd be able to be in a CDM role. That's the thing. Hems, is Gibbs-White coming or not? I wish I knew the answer to that. I really did. Is it true Mainoo is keen on Spurs, or is that fake news? I think he'd be keen, to be honest. We've seen the picture of him in the Spurs shirt. I personally think they're going to wait for the career tour. Then he'll go, yeah, see, I'm still trying to find that report. Yeah, here you go. This is what it was. So, barring injury, Son will definitely travel for Spurs' pre-season tour so that he can feature in Seoul, as Spurs would face a huge reduction in revenue gained from the match if the Korean didn't feature. So essentially, like, half of our pre-season tour in Korea is relying on Son being there and playing. That's basically what we're getting the money for. So there was no way that Son is never going to travel and play that. So his future is definitely not going to be resolved until after that. And yeah, it just depends who would pay for him, because we'd probably still want, what, 40 mil? I'd say that's a fair price for him. In his 30s though, so that's the other thing. But yeah, I don't know. Where are we? He's not money hungry, nah. Can't see United selling Mainoo. Agree. Great signing though, IMO. Yeah, maybe. Is Morgan Gibbs-White on your pre-season tour? Is he on yours? Are you a Forest fan? Is he on yours? I'd say 30 to 50 mil. Yeah, I'd say that's fair. I reckon I'd go 25 million. That's so cheap. So cheap. 10 to 20 mil for Son. 15 mil. Are we talking about Son and selling Son? That's crazy. You guys are nuts. That's so cheap, in my opinion, anyway. How much did Dembele go for? Moussa Dembele? How much did Spurs sell Moussa Dembele for? 11 million. But Moussa Dembele grew in reputation after he left the club and after he retired. So yeah, I don't know. Right, we've done the Palhinha stuff. I think there is one man left that we need to talk about still, and that is Garnacho. So Garnacho, Sancho, Anthony, and Malacia were the guys that didn't travel for Man United's pre-season tour. So I think regardless, Garnacho's leaving, right? He's definitely leaving this summer. It's just who he goes to. I always thought he was going to go abroad, like Napoli or somewhere in Italy or just somewhere else. But apparently he wants to stay in the Prem. I don't know. People really like him, and he could be a really good player. I think it's a gamble. And I also said, how much realistically would United ask for Garnacho? And I think it would be quite a lot. Relax, ages left in the window. There is, but 3 seasons till the start of the season. 3 weeks until the start of the season. His wages alone will get him a Saudi move and maybe an MLS move. Yeah, fair. No, I loved him at Spurs. Yeah, we all loved him at Spurs, but nobody rated him outside of Spurs until after is what I meant. Sorry. Garnacho would be a great signing. Yeah, see, LTL, like a lot of. Let me find the tweet. Let me find the tweet again. Let me pull it up. Yeah, I tweeted this. This was harsh, by the way. I simply have no words. Yeah, I mean, Stav said apart from his pettiness, what doesn't he do well? Obviously, pettiness is a big thing as part of it. Good rotation, I think, as a Werner replacement. Still young, won't lose any more value. Might be a player in there. Good mates with Coutinho and Merritt. Percy take a punt. Right, so here's a conundrum for you, by the way. And Callum, thank you for the follow, my dude. Appreciate it. Left wing position then, right? Garnacho, which is where he'd probably play. I know he can play on both, but you'd say he's probably better suited to a left wing, right? Let me know if you disagree with that or if I've got that all wrong. Garnacho, Son, Tel, Odegaard. And then you don't even consider the likes of, say, like Mikey Moore that can also come into that team and you want to aid his development. So that's potentially 5 people that can play left wing. Do we need another winger? Or would you rather get like a striker in? Because that's where I feel like the priority should be. Espen, thank you for the follow, dude. I see you guys on YouTube as well. They'd want Caicedo money. I think that's about Baliba, which is fair. Loan him. As in loan Garnacho. Interesting one. Interesting one, I think. I don't know if United would let him go on a loan, especially to a Premier League rival. Yeah, so I said I highly doubt he'd want to come and be a rotation option. He wants Premier League and will play 60 games this season. Would I have him over Simons, Eze and Morgan Gibbs-White? No. Is there a place for him in the squad? Maybe. Someone put loan. I'd take that, but he's United only PSR asset and they want cash. If you could get him for 30 mil plus add-ons. And I personally think that's an unrealistic price, right? Garnacho. Like, 30 mil, I think, surely United aren't sending him for that cheap. If it's 30 mil, I'd say take a punt. I just can't see that being the case. Dan, thank you for the follow, dude. Loan him and Yang. Yeah, Yang needs a loan for sure. I don't think he's playing for the under-21s tonight. But yeah, people really, really like Garnacho, it seems. That's the interesting one. I think Wilson's more of a right winger. If we sell Son, our left wings as Tel, Garnacho and Mikey Moore would be great. Yeah, I agree. That's if we sell Son, though. Which I'm still not convinced we'll do. So yeah, I don't know. Garnacho. Are there actually any credible links to Spurs? Yeah, so it's from the Telegraph, from James Ducker. Tottenham are among the clubs. Again, monitoring FC. And it's really frustrating when I see reports like this because the amount of... You guys saw the report in terms of how many people were on the shortlist for how many managers we were looking at to replace Ange Postecoglou. It will be the same for the transfer window. I can't even begin to imagine the amount of players that Spurs have got on their shortlist to try and sign for the summer. Garnacho will naturally be one because United want to sell him. He's a young player, which we know Spurs love. But yeah, I struggle to see him in a Tottenham kit. Is it just me in that aspect? I just want Morgan Gibbs-White and Mainoo. I think Tel is going to be a lot better than Garnacho. I think Tel's got so much potential. So much potential. D said that's a great sign-in. Yeah, again, I think it just would depend on the price. Really would depend on the price. Yeah, Tel should be our starting left wing. I hope he will be. I want to see a lot more Attell this season, especially now that he's signed on a permanent deal, for sure. United aren't selling him. United are selling Garnacho. 100% are. They've left him off his pre-season tour so he can literally find a new club. Yeah. 11 goals and assists, a good signing for you. 55 mil. See, that's the thing. I wouldn't pay that. I wouldn't pay that for him. I just don't think it's the risk. Oh, Mainoo. Yeah, Fez then. That's what I mean. Like, I'm not that bothered about the whole Mainoo stuff, personally. It's not a deal that is massively interesting to me. 4,000 likes on the TikTok live. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's so weird. So weird. I just want something, you know? Like, I'm just as frustrated as you guys. What Spurs player does his bicycle kick? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that's someone that we should if that's a trait that we should base signing someone on. Yeah, Mainoo doesn't interest me. Not the profile we need. Palhinha as a DM should be a priority alongside Lukeba as a centre-back, left-back cover. Kudus. Yeah, Ed, Kudus will start on the right, though. He won't start on the left. I'd go Kudus as the starting right winger over Johnson all day long. Yeah, God. Then, obviously, Kulusevski's not going to be back for a while, but Frank may opt to play him in a more of a central role. Thoughts on Morgan Gibbs-White? Just the same as what it has been for a long time. Hopefully it happens. Oh, Kudus does a bicycle kick. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe. Maybe. How are the under 21s getting on against Leyton Orient? Oh. I'm assuming nothing's happening then. Follow live updates. An excuse to click on the website. Oh, we lose them. 1-0 to the hosts. Are Leyton Orient playing a big, strong team? I would assume they are because their season starts sooner than ours. But yeah, crazy. Yeah, I think I've covered everything that I need to cover, to be honest with you. I think, isn't Basuma leaving? Yeah, I think he will. I think Basuma will leave. I can't see how he stays, to be honest, if we want to sign a number 6, which I know that we do. And if we need to get rid before we sign, then I do think that he will be the one to go. Hopefully we just get a decent enough bid. I know Fenerbahce were interested, but apparently Basuma wants to stay in the Prem, which could be a potential issue as well. You lot need a crazy 6, otherwise you finish it. I don't disagree with you. If Morgan Gibbs-White signs, do you think he'll play as a 6 with Bergvall? I don't know more. He'll definitely play a bit more of an advanced role, I reckon, as more of an 8. They say he's not trying to leave, though. Yeah, that's the thing, Dutch. I think he wants to stay, or at least stay in the Premier League, which obviously makes it a lot more difficult for us. Yeah, I don't know. I really like Decky as an 8 playing with Madders, to be honest. I always forget we got Maddison to come back into that team as well. We're going to have so many options, which I just love. I just can't wait. I can't wait for the season to start, but we do still need to keep strengthening. We really need to keep strengthening. Fixed defensive midfield, you guys are okay, agreed. Yeah, there's work to be done in the transfer window. You guys are not wrong, and we're getting now to the stage where all of this Gibbs-White stuff has died down. We're now getting linked with a lot of different names. What does that chef's tweet say? Tottenham's pursuit, I'm assuming that's supposed to say pursuit of Gibbs-White, will cost 70 million to ensure the deal happens. The threat of legal action and shutdown of contact between the clubs and the players mean contact can only happen via third parties working on behalf of the clubs. Tottenham had discussed offering 65 mil last week, hoping the meet in the middle offer would end the drama. Tottenham believe they've broken no rules and have not rescinded the 60 million trigger of the clause. Yeah, I don't know about this. Is it done or something? No, I wish it was. But Pele back, thank you for the follow, dude. I appreciate it. But yeah, look, at the end of the day, at some point, we will get some news about the Morgan Gibbs-White deal. And it's either going to make us incredibly happy or it's going to make us incredibly sad. And yeah, I agree. The Forest chairman needs to grow up. Regardless of what's going on with the Gibbs-White situation, we need to get moving on other deals because we've got 3 weeks to the season. I know there's loads of time left in the transfer window, but we've only signed one real player that's going to help improve us at the moment. And we need more than that. There are other positions we need. We also need to work on sales. So there's a lot of work to be done. And if we leave it too late, we're just setting ourselves up for failure again. And we don't want that to happen, really, do we? Kel, thank you for the follow, dude. But yeah, it's just one of those. It's frustrating, but keep the faith, keep the patience, and let's just see what happens. I mean, enjoy the pre-season games at least now that they're here. That's sort of like I guess the main thing, and then transfer news will break unexpectedly at some point, and hopefully we'll end up being really happy about it. But yeah, I don't know. Would you rather have Wharton or Palhinha and a backup striker? I'd rather have Wharton. I think that number 6 is the biggest issue for us. But yeah, look, I'm going to end the live stream there, guys, for tonight. We've been going for a solid hour, and I need to go and actually record a YouTube video now that's going up tomorrow. So I need to leave myself some voice and some time to do that. But I just want to say a massive thank you, as usual, for you guys coming along. I did promise I'll be doing more of these live streams, and I'm glad to be keeping to that promise as it stands, obviously. So yeah, if you've enjoyed, hit that follow button. If you're over on TikTok, I appreciate all of your support. Climax, thank you for the follow, and thank you for guys that have subscribed on YouTube, that have been in the comments, that have liked, etc., etc. The support is really amazing, as usual. I'll be back with a video tomorrow for you guys to watch. So get over to the YouTube channel and subscribe so you don't miss it. It will be all transfer related, talking a bit more about the guys we mentioned in this live stream. Ayan, thank you for the follow. Liam, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Nearly 30 new follows on this live stream. Really amazing. So thank you so much. But yeah, go enjoy the rest of your evenings for now, guys. I will catch you guys soon. And yeah.